rocking today, beautiful people. Oh, that's right. All right, beautiful people. Happy Friday. Guess what? It's Flag Day in Mexico. First time ever hearing about it, but it's in my planner. It is February the 24th, 2023, day 342 of year 4 of reading through books, laws, and prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1361. Today we are back in The Romance of the Red Star, a biography of the earth, which is simply another name for Oahspe. In the cycle of Off, we read in chapters 3 and 4 today, pages 60 to 62 in Big Blue, which is Oahspe, the lowest edition. We are reading the same chapters, chapter 3 and 4, in the book of Off. Romance calls it Cycle of Off. The lowest edition calls it Book of Off. And that's on page 64 to 67. And when we get done there, we're heading back over here to the Essene Gospel of Peace, starting with book 2. Book 2 is entitled The Unknown Books of the Essenes, and we're going to start there. So we'll probably get through the introduction of that one. They have a little preface, then an introduction. Yeah, we'll probably just get through that today. Then it goes into the Vision of Enoch, which we'll read tomorrow morning. All right, beautiful people. So let's get started straight away here. Father, we thank you for the earthly mother's angels who guide us by day. All right, Dawn Grand Rising says, my beautiful rising, Auntie Belinda Brown, happy Friday. She said, happy Friday, my peeps. Elijah Grand Rising. Audrey, shalom, Vinette, greetings. Mom, shalom, shalom. Shebrew, hey girl, hey, all praise to the Creator. Shayla, cousin, what's good? Grand Rising, love and light to you as well. Hannah, Grand Rising. Tanya Bomberry, Grand Rising says, Kila Olam. Hey girl, hey, Infinite Rising. And everybody else here hanging out in the background of both places of Facebook and YouTube. Top of the day to you. And happy Flag Day to you if you reside in Mexico. All right, y'all. Here we go. Cycle of Off. Remember, we're starting on page 60, chapter 3 for this. And if you follow along in Big Blue, page 64. All right. Off. Orion Chief said, when I was in the Orion Ark of No and the red star passed Utswala Dayark, I screwed it up, yep. In the Etherian group of Vor, the voice of Jehovah came to me saying, go thou, my son, and deliver earth. Take with thee all whom I may send. And I examined the records of the stars of heaven and of earth and the accounts of Jehovah's harvest. And I perceived the bondage and labor of the red star were of the 7th magnitude in the advance of habitable worlds. When his voice called the legions in high heaven from every side, and below and above earth, there moved myriads of shapely stars, which were ships of fire, coursing the firmament, whereon rode the gods and goddesses called by Jehovah to the labor of earth and Hada. Closing in on every side they came, and nearer and more compact and brighter, with sparkling pillars of fire, till all the space around the earth was hedged in with this army of Jehovah's Etherian ships of fire. Again I heard Jehovah's voice saying, O Off, my son, my Holy One, hearken to the voice of Jehovah, creator of gods and goddesses. Behold, I send my son Neph to the red star with wisdom and power. Long hath he been gone, long struggling with the black darkness of men and angels. As a valiant soldier rusheth into the heaviest part of the battle, and forgetteth himself in desperate contest, but ceaseth not to struggle on against all odds. Even so, for 3,000 years hath my God Neph hoped to save whole all the limbs of earth. From my holy place I have watched the battle for everlasting life. But the too prolific earth contributed more to the corporal man than to the spiritual man. And I bring my legions to the rescue and my valiant son Neph. Send thou to him, O Oahspe, my son. Proclaim to him and his lords and to his Etherians my just decrees. Oahspe said, and I sent swift messengers down to Hada, informing Neph, son of Jehovah, of the march and presence of gods, and of the decree of the Father. And I added thereunto, saying, O Neph, son of Jehovah, come hither, bringing thy hosts with thee. Presently, Neph answered me in Jehovah's name, saying, O Oahspe, son of Jehovah, I come. My prayers are answered. All praise to the All-Highest. Then we saw, making ready in Hada, preparatory to ascending, the ship of Neph and his faithful host, and that which was seen from my place was also seen by myriads of Jehovah's vessels surrounding the earth. And my place became as a central throne to which the host now made speed swiftly and orderly. And in the time they came, also rose up the ship of Neph from Hada. Meanwhile, my ship rested on the borders of Chenvat in the school of Hain, and from the moon 7 acres. Jehovah said, Oahspe, my son, put a wall of pillars of fire around about the land of Pan for the false gods and goddesses of Hada, when perceiving their habitation going down into the water, will endeavor to escape to Jud and Vohu. Remember, Jud is Asia and Vohu is Africa. Hold on, I'm gonna go back. Jehovah said, Oahspe, my son, put a wall of pillars of fire around about the land of Pan, for the false gods and goddesses of Hada, when perceiving their habitation going down into the water, will endeavor to escape to Jud and Vohu and other countries. But thou shalt not suffer one to escape, for they have migrated to this division of the earth because of its sumptuous productions, the better to feast their evil desires.
Was the Uggs just not fitting? Was they just not doing what they needed to do?
No, I just got hot. So I just took them off so my feet could touch the cold floor.
You know what you need to do.
Go cut on the air. Because I thought it was cooler down here. That's why I grabbed my little thing. But I'm sleeveless, so I don't really want to take it off and be baring all my arms and stuff.
It's okay. This is what you need to do one day.
Not that I'd be naked, but I feel a little more comfortable. Obviously, all my tattoos and everything going up and down my arms.
Which I am getting today.
Look.
Getting a tattoo today.
Hold on. I lost my spot.
What should I get?
I don't know. Get what you want to get. Remember, whatever you get, you're going to have to live with it for the rest of your life. Unless you decide to go back and get them removed.
I'm probably going to do, like, mythological gods and have meaning behind them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, that should be cool enough.
All right, son. And thou shalt spread a net around the borders of Pan against the line of the ocean and to the high north mountains, and the net shall encompass the continent of Pan, and it shall be to the height of 1,000 miles, and in breadth, so that no spirit of darkness can escape and find the way abroad. And when thou hast spread the net, thou shalt send a sufficient number of Etherians, and they shall take with them birth blankets. And in the time of destruction, when the mortals go down in death, thy servants shall receive the liberated spirits on the birth blankets and bear them to the atmospheric column of ascent. And hither shall thy host receive them and provide them with food and clothes after the manner of Essenians. But it shall come to pass that many mothers shall perish in the waters, with children in the womb, which live by fetal, as is proper in my sight, for so I created them. Therefore to all such fetals give special care, for they are without sin. And when the mother is dead corporally, and the fetal also, bring hence their spirits, but together, and provide a volunteer angel of fetal power and deliver the infant spirit to her to be nurtured until the proper time of weaning, and provide in the same place a home for the mother of the child, that she may inherit its love and mirth. When the voice ceased, I, son of Jehovah, looked about over the host as if in search of a sign that the time had come. But again Jehovah spake, saying, in the misfortunes of a fallen world created I food for the warm love of my Ethereal goddesses. Behold them here about in millions, every one in hope of receiving a prize of that which was lost in darkness, to raise up sons and daughters who shall rejoice in everlasting paradise. Think not that I gave the talent of love only to a mother for her child, and there the talent to end. For as the talent in its incipient stage bindeth her soul to the child, so do the same talent in my goddesses overspread a helpless world. That's good. Let me go all the way back up. Go back to when they feedle the babies to the mamas. Look, Jamia, shalom, shalom, Tikva, Jessamine, shalom, Bronze Yoke. What's going on, brother? Okay, let me go back up to when they perish in the waters. Okay. That's neat. But it shall come to pass that many mothers shall perish in the waters with children in the womb. Remember, we're talking about they preparing to sink the land of Pan. But the Father is creating all the everything. Because remember, Plan Z is in full effect. There is no more saving for all those who are still in flesh and blood, the corporal body. There's really no more hope for them corporally. That's how bad they've gotten because of all the fetals and the druges that are attached to them, right? So they have to move to Plan Z. We're going to go ahead and disembody them because it's only going to be there where we can separate them, separate the evil spirits from the good, right? Take the evil spirits to where they can be healed, restored, and those that are good, take them to a place where they can be nourished and continue growing as well, right? Everybody's on the same path of light, but sometimes some detours got to be made. A little bit of remediation has to be made for some people, spirits who get off track, right? But the overall plan of our Father is for the betterment, for the good of all involved, even those who have completely turned away from Him and have become evil. All right. But it shall come to pass that many mothers shall perish in the waters with children in the womb, which live by fetal, as is proper in my sight, for so I created them. Therefore, to all such fetals give special care, for they are without sin. And when the mother is dead corporally, and the fetal also, bring hence their spirits, but together, and provide a volunteer angel of fetal power, and deliver the infant spirit to her to be nurtured until the proper time of weaning, and provide in the same place a home for the mother of the child, that she may inherit its love and mirth. When the voice ceased, I, son of Jehovah, looked about over the host as if in search of a sign that the time had come. But again Jehovah spake, saying, in the misfortunes of a fallen world created I food for the warm love of my Ethereal goddesses. Behold them here about in millions, everyone in hope of receiving a prize of that which was lost in darkness, to raise up sons and daughters who shall rejoice in everlasting paradise. Think not that I gave the talent of love only to a mother for her child, and there the talent to end. For as the talent in its incipient stage bindeth her soul to her child, so doth the same talent in my goddesses overspread a helpless world. So they were in abundance, ready for Plan Z to go down, so they can be there to help. Just like a mother would, right? Just like a mother would, even other people's children. Think not that I gave the talent of love only to a mother for her child, and there the talent to end. For as the talent in its incipient stage bindeth her soul to her child, so doth the same talent in my Ethereal goddesses overspread a helpless world. Are they not as midwives and mothers to thousands and millions of souls being delivered from corporal bondage into everlasting light? and who can number them? Here standeth 100 million come from Lagos, 100 million from Enopa, 200 million from Karduk, 100 million from Buk, 200 million from Nen, 250 million from Luthwig, 100 million from Pied, P-I-E-D, 200 million from Reg, and 50 million from Navis, 200 million from Dadak, and 250 from Od. These are all the goddesses showing up from all these different places. They rolling deep. That's an understatement. I spake in the Etherian firmament, and they have answered me. Yea, they come not as curiosity seekers and with empty arms, but behold them arrayed with their thousands and millions of small equipments suited to the newborn. What is there that they have not remembered to bring with them in some part for regimen or drapery, to rejoice the souls of them that are to be cut off from corpore? Sound like a mother in her purse. She got everything but the kitchen sink in her purse. And with today's technology, she carried that too. It's called hand sanitizer. She got everything. They come ready, bearing gifts. What you got, baby? Don't worry about that. I got it in my bag. You ain't got it, sis? I got it. I got you. Everybody got bags ready to go. Sisters on deck. All right. Next chapter, chapter 4. This one, I'm going to just tell y'all now. As we get about halfway through this chapter, I'm sure that I'm going to screw up probably just about the rest of the chapter because it's a bunch of names. So just bear with me. Bear with me. I ain't doing it on purpose. I'm still learning how to use my phonics. Again, the voice of Jehovah came to me saying, My son, make fast thy ship, for thy place shall be the head of the army of my host, and let thy consorts extend in a line from thy place down to the earth, for this shall be the delivery of them of whom I shall cut off. So I made fast, and my messengers hastened to the congregating forces of heaven, informing the Etherian groups on Jehovah's ships of his commandments. And now came Neph. His ship rose up, filled with his long laboring host, and I greeted him, saying, By the power and wisdom of Jehovah, the continent of Pan is to be cut loose and submerged, and her heavens carried away. Return thou to earth, and bring all the spirits of darkness from all the divisions of the earth and her heavens to Pan, that I may carry them away. So we don't just want to get rid of the ones who have turned rogue on Pan, causing this uproar amongst the mortals. He said, go to every other continent, bring everybody, tell everybody it's a party going on. Everybody head to Pan. The party is happening on Pan, right? We need everybody. They want to get all the evil spirit. What? A party? Yo, can I bring? Yep, bring a friend. All your friends, all of them that you know, bring them with you, right? Everybody headed to Pan for the main event. By the power and wisdom of Jehovah, the continent of Pan is to be cut loose and submerged, and her heavens carried away. Return thou to earth, and bring all the spirits of darkness from the divisions of the earth and her heavens to Pan, that I may carry them away. Then Neph and his host viewed the imposing scene and returned back to earth. Quickly now, the ships of fire formed in line, extending from my place down to Hada, where rested Neph and his lords of earth, whose hosts extended to all the divisions of land and water, embracing the various heavenly kingdoms previously built by the lords. And in the line of the Etherian ships were stationed the plateaus of rank, and the host of gods and goddesses took their places according to the rank of love, wisdom, and power manifested in the Etherian departments from whence they came, with an Orion chief at each extremity. And I divided the line into sections, each with 250 ships, and there were 1,000 sections, and every ship was contracted 10,000-fold, which was the force required to break the crust of earth and to sink a continent. Along the line, I stationed sentinels and talismen and messengers without number, so that Jehovah's voice and his son's voices could traverse in a moment of time to every part. And after that, I formed the tube of transit, which extended in front of the ships and from the earth to beyond Chinvat. And I filled it with the earth's atmosphere to the extreme, where it joined Iosank, whither I had determined to deliver the Druhas and Fedals of such as were to perish in the ocean. For every 10 sections I appointed 100 marshals and 1 god, and for every 10 gods 1 chief in emuts, according to their rank in heaven, whence they came, so appointed I them. These then were the chief emuts to wit. Y'all ready? Ray. Hi, sis. Okay, so bear with me while I go through these names. Imagine what a sight that was. It was amazing in my eyes because I've never seen such a thing, right? Listen, anything spiritual is amazing to me. Look, matter of fact, even if it's not spiritual, some things just completely amaze me. Okay. Thence then were the chief emuts, to wit, Agar of the order of Achab, son of Jehovah, and Bowich from the corporal star, Godad, raised in Ben of Aji, 70, of 700,000 years, inhabitant of Gan, Hogi, son of Jehovah, Marshwan of Hadam and Ag, Nebula, 4, and Pethra, swift messenger of June, of the corporal star Alanx, of 1,200,000 years, inhabitant of Rothwook and Joyce. Thit Humi Tabi, daughter of Jehovah, Jean, Adslan, and K, goddess of Eni, goddess of Ad, governess of Walwal, of the corporal star Turwig, and of the plains of Exwer and Gohen, and the Etherian ark of Labis of 1,300,000 years. Hiata, daughter of Jehovah, and nurse of Huenbach, and 57 Aji, of the corporal star Heats, a milkmaid, goddess of Luff, goddess of the plateau of Obanf, in Ethera, rank 90, and of 2 millions of years, inhabitant of Nud and Ix. Gan Leps, son of Jehovah, god of Ne, god of Aper, god of Don, god of Mu, god of Ru, physician of Bo and of and of Janner, marshal of Kut and Oblin, of Sharar in Ethera, of the Aegean field of Do, of 700,000 years, inhabitant of Onlof and Rictus. Y'all hear the birds in the background? So amazing. That's how we know new life is springing up from the earth. Springtime is near. Listen, I thought Sally was dead. Remember, we named our tree out in the front yard, right? So it's a Japanese maple tree, right? And for some reason last year, as the seasons went out, clearly you can tell I'm a little slow in the gardening area, right? I got to learn about the different species of trees, right? So while all of the other trees were still like in full bloom, going into the winter months, our tree was as I'm gonna be nice. My tree was completely naked out front. I was gonna say something, but she was naked, and we were standing around looking. I'm like, wow, all these other trees out here. I'm like, look, and the first thing I think about something spiritual, has sin crept into our house and our garden is dying? My husband looked at me. I was like, well, I always got to ask the question. I'm like, why is our tree the only naked tree on the block? And so, look, we went to, it's a nursery up the street. And so we was like, well, we just gonna have to get the tree replaced or whatever, right? But make a long story short, the tree wasn't dead. We actually drove through the neighborhood and found this tree because everybody don't have the type of tree that we have in our yard. And their tree looked the same. I was like, everybody's tree can't be dead. I was like, so this must be like the normal cycle of this. But it baffled me because everything else was still nice and pretty. And some of them were not evergreen trees. They do shed their leaves every year. But the evergreen trees, they're always green through all seasons. So I knew, well, clearly I can tell because we're in February, we're about to be in March. But it would like 4 days ago. We was like, oh my gosh, she looked like she got berries all over her. These weren't here yesterday. When I say they were all over the tree, they were all over the tree. And maybe they were up there like the day before, but we didn't recognize it. It was nice and sunny outside. And but you could see all the red buds over the tree. Maybe they was there, and then overnight they decided to get their color. And we was like, oh my gosh, even the kids weren't out there when me and my husband was out there looking. But when they did go out there, they came running back in the house. They was like, oh, the tree is not dead. Clearly, we had been talking about the tree, so they also thought that the tree was dead based on the misinformation that they got from us because we was ignorant, right? And so now, I think it was Isaiah ran in the house. He said, the tree is not dead. He go running upstairs, and here come all the other 3 members down the stairs outside looking at the tree and all. And today, well, yesterday, those little red berries have all bloomed into pink little flowers, and it's starting to fill out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Silent. We was considering digging you up and replacing you because we was ignorant. We didn't know, right? Imagine how many beautiful things we miss out on because we are ignorant of what's going on. We're ignorant of the facts, right? We don't even know, you know, and that rings true in all areas of life, right? We get rid of stuff that is absolutely beautiful and still full of life because we don't recognize it, right? Got to learn how to recognize beauty in the midst of the darkness. Like all these goddesses that came from all these other worlds, that was their specialty. Give us all the dark and wicked spirits. We know how to make them beautiful, right? Look, cherry blossom. It's in the line of a cherry blossom tree, right? It's a Japanese maple tree. And you know what? I got a couple different apps, and I'm not sure exactly which one is right. And I don't want to seem like the crazy lady walking up to everybody tree like I'm taking pictures or something, but I be scanning and comparing just to make sure it's the right type of tree. It looks almost like a cherry blossom though, but it's like a Japanese maple. The colors, they differ just a little bit, right? Okay, let me get back to this, y'all. I want to get back to these names. Where was I at? Rictus, I think that's where I was. Okay, Neo, god of Lun, and Hentaya, god of Moors and of Thespoon, master of Pei and savior of Wohagi, Aji Plain 7, and risen from the corporal star Sayeti, an inhabitant of Cerne, Cerne, S-I-R-N-E, it could just be Cerne, an inhabitant of Cerne, 1,700,000 years. Sikhi, goddess of Nu, of Lotus and Rab, goddess of Bad, goddess of Tur, goddess of Red, Aji 20, from the corporal star Ithmul, inhabitant of Suga, 1,000,000 of years, inhabitant of Rana, 1,200,000 years. Litiaka, goddess of Man, goddess of Hers, goddess of Som and Ne, weaver of Otbach and Agimus, rank 90, raised on the corporal star Mem, inhabitant of Dasawig and Gibriomiti, 2,900,000 years. Tusika, goddess of Coal, goddess of Lotes and Witta Wagahats, Wagagats. I screwed that up. Goddess of Duweji and Lu of Magatza, goddess of Ep, goddess of Gek of Henna Shalom Kia, goddess of Tur in the Jiayan swamps of Dobokata, 55, raised on the corporal sun Nintz of the serpent Tan, inhabitant of Teye Hitsivi, 2,000,000 years, inhabitant of Pala, 1,700,000 years. Theotisi, goddess of Lubbock, goddess of Saranya in Gal-Lodo, goddess of Iz, goddess of Searle, goddess of Loklo, goddess of Aji, 75, goddess of warts and Doi Huta, goddess of Kreia, goddess of Baku, goddess of Til and Roets, goddess of Moots, goddess of Loretz of Wok Hum Houts, goddess of Build and Dusk Wan Gusul, goddess of Oksa, goddess of Unk Sut, goddess of Sihuta, goddess of Sheen, goddess of Isa, goddess of Ham, goddess of Rikwau, and Shuit, goddess of Dang and Guak, goddess of Fiata Zamo, goddess of Zita Yawahab of the gardens of Zita Yawaboth in Aji 7, surgeon of Lumzan, nurse of Piaga of Synthanis, nurse of Zed, nurse of Lucy, nurse of Home, nurse of Briatha, queen of Upa, queen of Raga. Y'all know she the junk, right? she the HNIC. Queen of Raga, disciplinarian of Tu, of Kaibi Samak, of Tootsmoots, of Berber, of Sitinsky, of Riva, of Soon of Hab, of Fussenhouse, and Caress, raised on the star Planza, swift messenger and ball and Wawaluk, 500,000 years, swift messenger and Tawaka of Run Fwats, 500,000 years, inhabitant of Tarashash, 1,000,000 years, inhabitant of the fields of Nijaye, 1,000,000 years, inhabitant of Gun, 500,000 years, maker of corporal roadways, 500,000 years. So Phaeacizi outranked all other gods and goddesses. Sure enough, she the HNIC. She outranked the gods and the goddesses. So Phaeacizi outranked all other gods and goddesses and was special guest of honor to the star of Phaeacizi's Etherian ship. Hold on. Let me go back. So Phaeacizi outranked all other gods and goddesses and was special guest of honor. And the star of Phaeacizi's Etherian ship was stationed near the earth that she might the better behold the deliverance of the spirits that were to be freed by the submersion of the land of Pan. And that is the end of this chapter. And this is what we pause at today. Right? We passed our mark by about 5 minutes. My clock went off, my reminder. But I wanted to finish that chapter. All right, y'all. Yes, they absolutely are. Tabitha said, these angels are from other corporal planets older than the earth. This is so beautiful. It absolutely is, right? The earth is a baby. And when earth goes out, the one that's being prepared now, that looks like our sun, will be in full effect. And the same shenanigans going to happen over again with a new set of people, right? A new set of souls that are being born into the world. And now we get our chance to be the Ashars, Asaph, gods and goddess, Lewises, all that good stuff, right? We need training too.
I'm be too busy exploring other planets.
All right, son. Well, I'll see you and pass it. Jeremiah, what excursion are you on today? It's been 10,000 years since I seen you last. Right? We'll catch up. We'll catch up through the cosmos in space and time.
It's funny because on that research, I don't know if you found out, but thought is the fastest thing in the whole universe. It's not like
just like that. It's faster than that. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, y'all. So we read through the table of contents yesterday, which began on page 45. The title of the book, beginning of book 2, is on page 43. Then it goes on giving you the table of contents, and the preface begins on page 47. Jermaine, shalom, shalom. Okay. Preface. Book 2 of the Essene Gospel of Peace. I have to begin this preface with a great confession. It is not my first translation of Book 2 of the Essene Gospel of Peace. It is my second. The first effort took many years to complete, and it was composed painstakingly and literally with hundreds of cross-references and abundant, what is this word? Philological? Yeah, philological. Hold on. With hundreds of cross-references and abundant philological and exegetal footnotes. When it was finished, I was very proud of it, and in a glow of self-satisfied accomplishment, I gave it to my friend Aldous Huxley to read. 2 weeks later, I asked him what he thought of my monumental translation. "It is very, very bad," he answered. "It is even worse than the most boorish treatise of the patristics. What? I ain't never seen that word in my life. It is even worse than the most boring treatise of the patristics and scholastics, which nobody reads today. It is so dry and uninteresting. In fact, I have no desire to read book 3. I was speechless. So he continued, "You should rewrite it and give it some of the vitality of your other books. Make it literary, readable, and attractive for 20th century readers. I'm sure the Essenes did not speak to each other in footnotes. In the form it is in now, the only readers you will have for it may be a few dogmatists in theological seminaries who seem to take," what is it? I know this word. Hold on, before I try and sound it out and I sound completely ignorant, I'm sorry, y'all. Some words I gotta do this. S-O-C-H-I-S-T-I-C.
What is it?
Don't come look at this word like you about to help me pronounce it.
Hold on.
Right here. Look at the masochistic. Okay. Okay. It broke
Oh,
up.
just say masochist. They're a masochist.
Oh, masochist.
Yeah, they're a masochist.
Well, thank you, Jeremiah.
Masochistic.
See? Masochistic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I told you I'd be slow sometime. Okay.
What was the meaning of masochist? I'm so sorry, people.
Deriving sexual gratification from one's own pain or humiliation. Enjoying an activity that appears to be painful or tedious.
Oh, so they're
Masochistic.
Masochistic. Okay. Like they enjoy doing things that are like...
Those are the guys that enjoy being stepped on.
No, it's like they enjoy it's like they enjoy reading dictionaries. They take great joy in reading dictionaries, things like that. Things that other people like, why would you even do that? Like, I go looking for a word. I'm not going to read it through like a book. All right. Okay. Listen. Masochistic. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. In the form that it is in now, the only readers you will have for it may be a few dogmatists in theological seminaries who seem to take masochistic pleasure in reading this sort of thing. However, he added with a smile, you might find some value in it as a cure for insomnia. Each time I tried to read it, I fell asleep within a few minutes. You might try to sell a few copies that way by advertising a new sleep remedy in the health magazines, no harmful chemicals and all that. It took me a long time to recuperate from his criticism. I put aside the manuscript for years. Meanwhile, I continued to receive thousands of letters from many readers from all parts of the world of my translation of Book 1 of the Essene's Gospel of Peace, asking for the second and the third books promised in the preface. Finally, I got the courage to start again. The passing of years had mellowed my attitude, and I saw my friend's criticism in a new light. I rewrote the entire manuscript, treating it as literature and poetry, coming to grips with the great problems of life, both ancient and contemporary. It was not easy to be faithful to the original and at the same time present the eternal truths in a way that would appeal to the 20th century man. And yet, it was vitally important that I tried, for the Essenes, above all others, strove to win the hearts of men through reason and the powerful and vivid examples of their lives. Sadly, Aldous is no longer here to read my second translation. I have a feeling he would have liked it, not a single footnote. But I will have to leave the final judgment to my readers. If book 2 and 3 will become as popular as book 1, my efforts of many, many years will be amply rewarded. San Diego, California, the 1st of November, 1974, Edmund Bordeaux Sisley. I still be messing up his name. I'm sorry, Edmund. All right, introduction. There are 3 paths leading to truth. The first is the path of the consciousness. The second, that of nature. And the third is the accumulated experience of past generations, which we receive in the shape of great masterpieces of all ages. From time immemorial, man and humanity have followed all 3 paths. The first path to truth, the path of the consciousness, is that followed by the great mystics. Let me read it again. The first path to truth, the path of the consciousness, is that followed. Why I'm reading it so slow? I'm going to start again. I'm sorry. The first path to truth, the path of the consciousness, is that followed by the great mystics. They consider that the consciousness is the most immediate reality for us and is the key to the universe. It is something which is in us, which is us. And throughout the ages, the mystics have made the discovery that the laws of human consciousness contain an aspect not found in the laws governing the material universe, which is those like authors in the books that we find that are coming out more about like like heaven is found inside of you, right? Like New Testament says, heaven is not without, it is within. And it's talking, I think it's within and it's without, right? But first, in order to see it without, you have to go within, right? The human consciousness, learning about the spirit, learning how to travel with your spirit, right? All of that stuff. I'm going to share a couple more things today in regards to this. And I'm thinking about the book that we're going to go to next. After this is going to have something to do with a deeper understanding of the human body. I think y'all going to like it. Some of you may not like the author, but it ain't because his name is sometime what's the other guy's name? Sometime his name can be said in the same I'll say in the same sentence, but I think they're 2 totally different type of teachers. What is the guy's name? The guy into all I forget. But anyway, Manly Palmer Hall is who I'm talking about. But it's another guy that they use his name a lot when they talk about him, but they're completely different. Like they shouldn't even be said in the same sentence based on their teachings and how they teach certain things. Manly Palmer Hall, and his name is also synonymous with the Masonic brothers and sisters as well. But what he teaches is from a scientific standpoint, which can be proven today. It's not, he wasn't all into the like spooky spiritual and passwords and codes and stuff like that, but he actually literally breaks it down. Yes, thank you, Tanya. That's the name I was looking for. Aleister Crowley. Yeah. Sometimes they kind of put them names together like they were the best of buds. I no longer look at it that way because I started looking into a lot of Manly Palmer Hall's information. And on a scientific standpoint, especially anatomy and physiology, he has some amazing stuff, right? So I'm wondering, right here, he kind of breaks down, what the Masons hide, right? And it all can be tested. Like, it should be like a book. Most people don't like to take A&P. I got that too. I had to bring it all together. Look. While I'm going through this, like seriously, for real. Like his stuff, I'm like, it's amazing. And it doesn't read like a science book. It really breaks it down to where I could like read it to my children. It's this one and the occult anatomy of man. All right, they call it the occult anatomy. Don't let that throw you off. It just means like the hidden, and he breaks it down. But he also begins to bring some light onto some of the things that have been hidden by passwords and secret things, and even some of this that has been hidden in the Bible in the New Testament. I began to see it in a different light, because it actually begins to speak to the spiritual nature and how to actually go within, where you find heaven within first before we can begin recognizing it all around us, and all the stuff we learn about in Oahspe. I think it was really good. So I'm debating whether I want to read one of those next and share some of this stuff. All right, listen. The first path to truth, the path of consciousness, is that followed by the great mystics. They considered that the consciousness is the most immediate reality for us and is the key to the universe. It is something which is in us, which is us. And throughout the ages, the mystics have made a discovery that the laws of human consciousness contain an aspect not found in the laws governing the material universe. A certain dynamic unity exists in our consciousness, where one is at the same time many. It is possible for us to have simultaneously different thoughts, ideas, associations, images, memories, and intuitions occupying our consciousness within fragments of a minute or a second. Yet all this multiplicity will still constitute only a single dynamic unity. Therefore, the laws of mathematics, which are valid for the material universe, are a key to its understanding. Therefore, the laws of mathematics, which are valid for the material universe and are a key to its understanding, will not be valid in a field of consciousness, a realm where two or two do not necessarily make four. The mystics also found that...
One moment. I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No, Siri, I wasn't talking to you.
Okay.
Mystics also found that measurements of space, time, and weight, universally valid in nature and throughout the material universe, are not applicable to the consciousness, where sometimes a few seconds seem like hours or hours like a minute, right? And so if you don't understand that, you should meditate a little bit. And once you get into those deeper moments of meditation, you will see that time is almost non-existent. So you can, like, when you're in that deeper state of meditation, it'll seem like maybe like a couple minutes, but when you come out of it, a whole hour or 2 hours would have beaten past, right? It's crazy. It still blows me away. I still haven't figured out why that happens. And when it first started happening, I'm like, where in the world was I at? Like, where did I go? Our consciousness does not exist in space. Therefore, it cannot be measured in spatial terms. It has its own time, which is very often timeless. So temporal measurements cannot be applied to truth reached by this path. The great mystics discovered that the human consciousness, besides being the most immediate and the most inmost reality for us, is at the same time our closest source of energy, harmony, and knowledge. The path to truth, leading to and through the consciousness, produced the great teachings of humanity, the great intuitions, and the great masterpieces throughout the ages. Such then is the first path to, or source of, truth, as the Essene traditions understand and interpret it. Yeah, I've heard them say that too, BC. Collapse in time. L. Stewart, shalom, shalom, grand rising. Unfortunately, the magnificent original intuitions of the great masters often lose their vitality as they pass down the generations. They are very often modified, distorted, and turned into dogmas, and all too frequently Okay, hold on. I'm gonna finish reading the intro. If y'all gotta go ahead, get out of here to work. We record it. Unfortunately, the magnificent original intuitions of the great masters often lose their vitality as they pass down the generations. They are very often modified, distorted, and turned into dogmas, and all too frequently, their values become petrified in institutions and organized hierarchies. The pure institutions are choked by the sands of time and eventually have to be dug out by seekers of truth able to penetrate into their essence. Another danger is that persons following this path of truth, the path of the consciousness, may fall into exaggerations. They come to think that this is the only path to truth and disregard all others. I've seen some people doing that. Coming along this path, I've seen some people, they just like, it's like they come from one extreme and go down another extreme in the avenues of truth, which is why I decided at this point, I was like, okay, because I came out of that kind of crazy. I definitely don't want to become that kind of crazy. So I'm going to need to look at everything really carefully along the way, right? And so this is why we gather together as friends, so we can put all this crazy on the table and go through it page by page and look, use our experiences, share different things we've encountered, and so we can just kind of sift and sort through all the rigmarole. What we don't need and is absolutely garbage, put it in a trash can, which is right beside the table. And if we need to set it on fire, remember, I always keep matches in my back pocket. Right? All right, listen. Another danger is that persons following this path to truth, the path of the consciousness, may fall into exaggerations. They come to think that this path is the only path to truth and disregard all others. Very often, too, they apply specific laws of the human consciousness to the material universe where they lack validity and ignore the laws proper to the latter sphere. The mystic often creates for himself an artificial universe farther and farther removed from reality till he ends by living in an ivory tower, having lost all contact with reality and life. The second of the three paths is the path of nature. What? And these are the ones that decide they go to another whole extreme too, right? We keep it all balanced. We just can't leave the family, go live in nature butt naked and run around, swing from trees. Although there might be paradise for a first week or two. But then I don't really like bugs. And at night, I much rather be in the house, just close the windows and stuff. Give me some AC. You know, like, I don't want to live that life all the way. Just give me bits and pieces of it. Can't we just take the best of each thing? Well, listen. The second of the three paths is the path of nature, while the first path of the consciousness starts from within and penetrates thence into the totality of things. The second path takes the opposite way. Its starting point is the external world. It is the path of the scientist and has been followed in all ages through experience and through experiment, through the use of inductive and deductive methods. The scientist, working with exact quantitative measurements, measures everything in space and time and makes all possible correlations. So this is where we started at with my big toe. So it's looking at it from this perspective. So we're using the scientific and the nature-driven world along with those who use consciousness, and we're like merging them together. So also, we're going to finish the trilogy, My Big Toe, books 2 and 3. But I think before we get to that, because it's a little bit more scientific than My Big Toe, the first book, I think it's needful that we go through some of these other things, like the occult anatomy of man, some of these, and it's another one I said I was gonna, I took it upstairs. The one that was like almost $200. What's the name of that book? that talks about the ba and the ka. Because going through that, and I skimmed through just about all of them. And I skimmed through this, but I think once we get to that, when it gets to the more scientific terms, based on everything else that we've already understand about the body, it won't be so hard to get through those. Now, I've listened to books 2 and 3. I haven't read, I've actually listened to them. So I'm like, yeah, I think we still need to add some more lessons in before we go to this, before they even catch what they're even saying over here. So, but a book list, I got one. I'm gonna have to update it again. I just updated it day before yesterday and added that we're currently reading Essene's Gospel of Peace. I'll put it up there today. And I'll put these on the list so y'all can see. If y'all want to get them, y'all can. Y'all don't have to. Some of them are Audible. Some of them are not. But I think even before we read this one, I think there's another one that I told y'all we was going to read. The Initiates of the Flame. I think that's a needful piece. It's all of this stuff is like going together, y'all. Just bear with me. Trust me while we walk through the days and pull all this information together. Okay, let me hear if I finish. Hold on. Oh yeah. Are you gonna update your app, or are you just not using it anymore? App? What app? I'm gonna wait for your answer. What app you talking about? You have an app? I don't have an app. I wish I did. Oh my gosh, that would make my life so much easier. I tell everybody, download my app, and I'll put everything there. What app? You download it to your phone? Oh, that makes sense if you're talking about my website. Now, my website, I have not, but you can't download that to your phone. I have not updated the website yet. What's the name of the app? It's probably one I recommended. What's the name of it? I'm gonna keep going. I'll look back up to see what the name is. But I don't have an app. No. What? You said no issue. I'll screenshot to the chat. Please do. Hold on. Well, you can't put it in here. Well, tag me on Facebook or something. Let me see. I got an app. I ain't got no app. You can save to home screen or desktop. Oh, you could have saved the web page, the website. I don't know. I seriously do not know what you're talking about, Tiffany. I don't have an app. But if somebody created an app with all my stuff, hey, contact me. Let's do this together. Look. Okay. The scientist working with exact quantitative measurements measures everything in space and time and makes all possible correlations. Okay, thanks. I'll look at it when I get done. With his telescope, he penetrates into far distant cosmic space, into the various solar and galactic systems. Through spectrum analysis, he measures the constituents of the different planets in cosmic space. And by mathematical calculation, he establishes in advance the movements of celestial bodies. Applying the laws of cause and effect, the scientist establishes a long chain of causes and effects which help him to explain the measure of the universe as well as life. But the scientist, like the mystic, sometimes falls into exaggerations. While science has transformed the life of mankind and has created great values for man in all ages, it has failed to give entire satisfaction in the solution of the final problems of existence, life, and the universe. The scientist has the long chain of causes and effects secure in all its particles, but he has no idea what to do with the end of the chain. He has no solid point to which he may attach the end of the chain, and so by the path to truth through nature and the material universe, He is unable to answer the great and eternal questions concerning the beginning and the end of all things. And that's why I think My Big Toe is so good, because this scientist, he's not an engineer, he's a something physicist. I forget what it is, right? He's a science head, and he was able. The missing part is the spirit. You got to link it to the spirit, right? Just kind of sum everything up. So that's why I absolutely love My Big Toe. Although you get his first book is really like down to earth, breaking you into some terms, not losing you. It's really easy to stick with. So whereas he still uses his humor through the second and the third books, but he warns you, he has to kind of explain some of the scientific things. So he gives it to you in scientist terms, but then he breaks it down for you so you can understand. It kind of like gives you stories and things you can compare it to wrap your mind around it so you can see what's actually happening, right? But he realized that the missing piece, we got all these data and facts and all these things that we can do and can manipulate, but we found what we need to connect this end of the chain to. All this data and facts and all this stuff, you got to connect it to the spirit, right? There should be a simultaneous growth happening with the flesh and all of the facts and stuff. We got to connect it to the spirit, make it one, and eureka, right? Listen, but the scientist, like the mystic, sometimes falls into exaggerations. While science has transformed the life of mankind and has created great values for man in all ages, it has failed to give entire satisfaction in the solution of the final problems of existence, life, and the universe. The scientist has the long chain of causes and effects secure in all its particles, but he has no idea what to do with the end of the chain. He has no solid point to which he may attach the end of the chain, and so, by the path to truth, through nature and the material universe, he is unable to answer the great and eternal questions concerning the beginning and end of all things. The greatest scientists recognize that in the metaphysical field, beyond the scientific chain, there is something else, continuing from the end of that chain. However, there's also the dogmatic scientists who deny any other approach to truth than their own, who refuse to attribute reality to the facts and phenomena which they cannot neatly fit into their own categories and classifications. The path to truth through nature is not that of the dogmatic scientist, just as the first path is not that of the one-sided mystic. Nature is a great open book in which everything can be found if we learn to draw from it the inspiration which it has given to the great thinkers of all ages. If we learn her language, nature will reveal to us all the laws of life and the universe. It is for this reason that all the great masters of humanity from time to time withdrew into nature. Zarathustra and Moses into the mountains, Buddha to the forest, Jesus and the Essenes to the desert, and thus followed this second path as well as that of the consciousness, right? So they put them together. Look, and thus hold on, let me read it over. It is for this reason that all the great masters of humanity from time to time withdrew into nature. Zarathustra and Moses into the mountains, Buddha to the forest, Jesus and the Essenes to the desert, and thus followed this second path as well as that of the consciousness. The two paths do not contradict one another, but harmoniously complete one another in full knowledge of the laws of both. It was thus that the great teachers reached wonderful, deeply profound truths which have given inspiration to millions through thousands of years. The third path to truth is the wisdom, knowledge, and experience acquired by the great thinkers of all ages and transmitted to us in the form of great teachings, the great sacred books or scriptures, and the great masterpieces of universal literature, which together form what today we would call universal culture. In brief, therefore, our approach to truth is a threefold one: through consciousness, through nature, and through culture. This is amazing. I love learning this way. Like, we need all of them. We need the lab. Let's go in here and practice some meditation. I'm going to astral project. Let's go. Right? We can't just listen to you talk all the day long. We need to do something. What can we do? Can we put it into practice? I still recommend The Gateway Process by Robert Monroe, right? He's the safest. He's not the only one. I just taken a special liking to him because he's the only one that I have found so far that is safe for me. He's not the only one, but I'm telling you, his stuff is safe. He did the whole science part, linked up with scientists, and then they tested. They have a whole school here in Virginia of one day I want to go and take one of their little weekend or week-long retreats. But me and my hubby gonna have to go. But he ain't quite ready for that yet. He like, we don't need to do all that. I'm like, okay, well, I want to go for the experience. Let's just say we did it once in our life, right? By the time we probably get there together, I'll probably already be flying. Maybe not. No, my husband he's growing leaps and bounds spiritually. He really is. Via, greetings. Okay, listen. I'm gonna read this third path again, and we almost done. This is the last little bit, y'all. The third path to truth is the wisdom, knowledge, and experience acquired by the great thinkers of all ages and transmitted to us in the form of great teachings, the great sacred books of scriptures, and the great masterpieces of universal literature, which together form what today we would call universal culture. In brief, therefore, our approach to truth is a threefold one: through consciousness, nature, and culture. In the following chapters, we shall follow this threefold path leading to truth and shall examine and translate some of the great sacred writings of the Essenes. There are different ways of studying these great writings. One way, the way of all theologians and of the organized churches, is to consider each text literally. This is the dogmatic way, resulting from a long process of petrification by which truths are inevitably transformed into dogmas, right? We all been there. We came out of that, right? In the church. But now, looking back through it, we haven't really gotten into it a lot. I mention it from time to time, but there is a whole esoteric way of looking at the scriptures if you want to look at it on that level. If you ain't set it on fire in the trash can, just take it back out, put it on the table, because we're going to get to all of those ways you can look at the scripture and all the things that you can see hidden, written within, right? That's like one of those elective classes you can take going like in high school and stuff, right? I was, even when if they had any kind of religious course, that's just kind of been like the love of my life. Any kind of religious course I could take, the different cultures and how they worship, I've always been fascinated by that, just to see how different people mind work in regards to the Creator, right? It's amazing. What's that? Oh, our bed or his? Okay. Oh man. Okay. All right, y'all. Hold on. Let's go ahead and finish this real quick. Okay. When the theologian follows this most easy, but one-sided path, he runs into endless contradictions and complications, and he reaches a conclusion as far removed from truth as that of the scientific interpreter of these texts, who reject them as entirely valueless and without validity. The approaches of the dogmatic theologian and the exclusivist scientist represent two extremes. The third error is to believe, as do certain symbolists, that these books have no more than a symbolic content and are nothing more than parables. With their own particular way of exaggeration, these symbolists make thousands of different and quite contradictory interpretations of these great texts. The spirit of the Essene traditions is opposed to all three of these ways of interpreting these ageless writings and follows an entirely different approach. Freeborn Shalom. I'm going to have to check that out. Nasarai Yahu Shalom. Hold on. The Essene method of interpretation of these books is On the one hand, to place them in harmonious correlation with the laws of human consciousness and of nature, and on the other hand, to consider the facts and circumstances of the ages and environment in which they were written. This approach also takes into account the degree of evolution and understanding of the people to whom the particular master was addressing his message. Since all the great masters had to adapt their teaching to the level of their audience, they found it necessary to formulate both an exoteric and an esoteric teaching. The exoteric message was one comprehensible to the people at large and was expressed in terms of various rules, forms, and rituals corresponding to the basic needs of the people and the age concerned. Parallel with this, the esoteric teachings have survived through the ages, partly as written and partly as unwritten living traditions, free from forms, rituals, rules, and dogmas, and in all periods have been kept alive and practiced by a small minority. It is in this spirit of the interpretation of the truth that the Essene's Gospel of Peace will be translated in the following pages, rejecting the dogmatic method of literal and purely scientific interpretation, as well as the exaggeration of the symbolists. We shall try to translate the Essene Gospel of Peace in the light of our consciousness and of nature, and in harmony with the great traditions of the Essenes, to whose brotherhood the authors of the Dead Sea Scrolls themselves belonged. We're about to get into it tomorrow, y'all. And so that's the end of this today. Tomorrow, we begin with the vision of Enoch, the most ancient revelation. Thank you, Tikva. Thank you. Thank you, girl. All right, y'all. So that is it for today. You go ahead and get going. Hold on, put this up in here. Hey, girl, hey. Hey. Put the ending page, 47 to 54. All right, beautiful people. Today it is Friday, February the 24th, 2023. It's Flag Day in Mexico. Day 342 of year 4 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,361. We read chapters 3 and 4 in Romance of the Red Star, in a cycle of off on pages 60 to 62. In Big Blue, the lowest edition of Oahspe is found on page 64 through 67. And we just finished reading the preface and the introduction into book 2, which is pages 47 to 54 in the Essene's Gospel of Peace. And with that being said, Father, we not only thank you for the earthly mothers, angels who guide us by day, we thank you for your heavenly angels and unknown angels that guide us and are with us throughout the night. All right, beautiful people. That is it. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Tikva. I woke up with that post on my mind too. Let me go ahead and get up. I got up before my alarm. Like, I woke up 5 minutes before my alarm went off, and all that was playing in my deep down in my shanana was, hold on, what it say? Sit up, Pooh. Let me pull up my text. I'm like, oh, Lord, let me get up, because the angels of water and air are already waiting for me without. Look, hold on.
Mommy.
Yeah, Pooh, listen.
Look on the iPad.
Yeah, hold on. Listen, I'm gonna just read it all for y'all again. It's found in book 1. And God will send you each morning the angel of sunshine to wake you from your sleep. Therefore, obey your heavenly Father's summons and lie not idle in your beds. For the angels of air and water wait you already without, and labor all day long with the angels of the earthly mother, that you may come to know them and their works ever more and more well. But when the sun is set, and your heavenly Father sends you his most precious angel, sleep, take your rest, and be all the night long with the angel of sleep. And then will your heavenly Father send you his unknown angels, that they may be with you the livelong night. And the Heavenly Father's unknown angels will teach you many things concerning the kingdom of God, even as the angels that you know of the earthly mother instruct you in the things of her kingdom. For I tell you truly, you will be every night the guest of the kingdom of your heavenly Father if you do his commandments. And when you wake up upon the morrow, you will feel in you the power of the unknown angels, and your heavenly Father will send them to you every night that they may build your spirit, even as every day the earthly mother sends you her angels that they may build your body. For I tell you truly, if in the daytime your earthly mother folds you in her arms, and in the night the heavenly Father breathes his kiss upon you, then will the sons of men become the sons of God. This is amazing. I wish I could just take this and push it right all the way down deep in my shanana. I'm going to get it there day by day, line by line. It's going to permanently stay on the inside of me, down in the deepest recesses of my spirit.
Mommy.
Remember, if you haven't figured it out by now, when I say shanana, shanana is just another fun way for me to say spirit, right? Deep down in your shanana. All right, y'all, that's it. They said, Bella, hey. All right, y'all. Yes, have a very productive. Yes, they're saying your name. Sheba said, Bella. And she gave you hearts and stuff. Dawn said, beautiful Bella. Hold on. Yep. Hey, Bella. Not auntie. Nani said, hey, Bella, Bella. And she blew you kisses. All right, beautiful people. OCU, what's going on, brother? Yeah, shanana. You gotta look. You can't just say shanana. You gotta say it with some. You just gotta put some funk on it. Yo, shanana. It just depends on what you're saying and how you use it in the context of your senses. You gotta feel it. Yeah, you gotta feel it on me. All right, y'all. I love y'all. We out of here. Tomorrow is Friday, so we'll be here at 7:30, right? But we ain't gonna have it long tomorrow because I got class on Saturdays. All right, y'all. So with that being said, we out of here. What is you doing? Okay, there you go. All right, beautiful people. We out of here. See y'all back here tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, Sabbath is Monday. I had to verify it. It's Monday. But if you saw it Tuesday, hey, we also learned you can do it Tuesday. But Israel definitely spotted on Tuesday. So if we're here and them there, we both celebrating it on the same day, somebody's off. Somebody's absolutely off, right? Because remember, they're like a half a day ahead of us, so just remember those things. All right, y'all. I love y'all. We out of here. Peace. Hit that one. Bye, Facebook.